It was time to play in this beautiful land again. Both countries having a good friendship among them. Their cricketing relationship starts in 1927, where New Zealand uses Colombo as a stopover while they're sailing to England, and played a one-day single innings match. They not met each other till 1979 World Cup afterwards, where New Zealand beats Sri Lanka easily in 9 wickets. After gaining their test status, Sri Lanka and New Zealand meet in Test Arena 3 times. Kiwis managed to visit Sri Lanka twice, 1984 and 1987. Sri Lanka went to play in New Zealand once in 1983. In addition to that, both teams played multiple one-day internationals in various locations. Statistically, this is Sri Lanka's second New Zealand tour. Before the tour, Sri Lanka were playing the Asia Cup in India with Bangladesh and India. In the group game they beat India comfortably by 36 runs and Bangladesh by 71 runs. But in the final they lost to India by 7 wickets. Arjuna scored 166 in the series and Aravinda scored 126. Rumesh took 4 wickets. Yet another Asian trophy to India, this time under the captaincy of Azharuddin. On the other hand, New Zealand in a transition period, after their legendary player Richard Hadlee stepped down from international cricket few months back.
And Smith knew Hadlee was never in doubt.
Oh, what a wonderful catch. Superb catch. Lightning reflexes. And now he's back in close to the stumps. Change of line, beautiful bowling.
That is very comprehensive, and the new bat did little good.
When retiring, Hadlee held the world record of most wicket-taking bowler with 431 wickets and the only player in the history to cross 400 wickets mark.
OBW, and will that be a wicket for Richard Hadlee with his last ball in Test cricket, to join a very select group of players who have done that. The end of the wicket with the last ball. What sort of a thrill was that?
Yes, it was a great thrill. I mean, I came here to England very relaxed. I wasn't obsessed, I wasn't chasing anything.
Before this tour, New Zealand just completed the World Series in Australia as the runners-up. Martin Crowe's Kiwis played 8 group games against Australia and England and 2 finals against Australia. With 4 50s, Martin Crowe scored 405 runs and John Wright scored 247. Chris Pringle took 18 wickets and Danny Morrison took 14.
The captain, Alan Lamb, because that ball bouncing between. Good shot. That was a tremendous way to bring up the 50. That's the second time that he's driven Hemmings through that gap. Both times he's reached the boundary. And that is a useful shot for New Zealand. Third man is very square. That's always a safe boundary.
Got him! Well, that's a good effort by the bowler. Willie Watson struck back, ran out.
Oh, that's a good piece of bowling by Petrie. So that helps New Zealand's cause no end. Jack Russell on the way. So the 5th wicket is down with the score 126.
Got him! There goes the off stump of Eddie Hemmings. What a finish. A good effort by young Pringle. Not panicking under pressure, keeping the ball well up. Malcolm on strike. He hits it high, long and handsome. The long-on's coming around. They're through for 2. They come back for 3. And that is a victory for New Zealand. A very good victory. A fine hand by John Morris, not out 63. Malcolm not out 3. 9 for 190 to England after the 40 overs. And New Zealand putting off a surprise victory in my mind. A very good effort by their captain. He didn't panic. They dropped 2 or 3 catches at vital stages with young.
Sri Lankan team consists of 14 players. They have 3 openers in the side: Charith Senanayake, Dammika Ranatunga, and Chandika Hathurusingha. Out of them only Dammika played 2 tests so far in Australia 1989. So it will be fairly a challenge situation for Sri Lankans to start the innings. But these players are promising. Compared to openers, Sri Lankan middle order looks solid. Asanka played 10 matches and scored 466 runs. Aravinda played 18 games and scored 986 runs. Arjuna played 27 and took 1,674 runs. Roshan played 7 games with 292 runs. Sanath yet to play a game. Sri Lankan fast bowling department seems to having adequate experience. Labrooy played 9 games and took 14 wickets. Rumesh played 24 games and grabbed 52 wickets. Ramanayake played 7 games and took 6 wickets. Kapila yet to play a test game. Not much satisfactory statistics from spinning department though. Ashoka played 10 games and took 4 wickets. Wijegunawardene played 2 games and took 3 wickets. Warnaweera played 2 and took 4 wickets. It is time to change their perspective in the series. Wicket-keeping front Hashan played 2 tests till date and scored 61 runs and grabbed 5 catches. Romesh Kalia at Harana was a youngster and not played any international game yet. Sri Lankan former player Stanley Jayasuriya was appointed as the team manager. He played as a right-hand batsman and part-time off-break bowler before they gained their test status. In addition to that, he played for Leicestershire. In between the Asia Cup and the New Zealand tour, Sri Lanka made few changes. From Asia Cup squad they dropped left-arm spinner Don Anuraziri and medium-pace man Pramadya Wickramasinghe and brought 6 players. 2 openers, Dammika Ranatunga, Chandika Hathurusingha, a wicket-keeper Romesh Kalia at Harana, medium-pace man Kapila Wijegunawardene and 2 spinners, Ranjith and Ashoka de Silva earned slots in Sri Lankan squad. It's kind of a lengthy tour which spans for 48 playing days. Within this period Sri Lanka is playing 4 first-class games, 3 one-day internationals and 3 tests. They starting their tour at Palmerston North on January 15th playing against New Zealand emerging players. January 24th they playing their second practice first-class game against Wellington at Wellington. On January 26th at Napier, major teams meeting each other for the first time. First one-day international will take place on the given date. 2 days after, that is on January 28th, both teams meet in Auckland for the second one-day international. January 31st teams gather in Wellington for the first test. February 6th, first game starts in the Southern Island. At Dunedin, New Zealand will meet Sri Lanka for the third and final one-day game. After that at February 9th to 12th Sri Lanka is having a 3-day practice game at Nelson with Central District team. Then, they moving to Christchurch to play another practice game with Canterbury on February 15th till 18th. Sri Lanka will fly back to Northern Ireland to play the second test at Hamilton on February 22nd to 26th. At Auckland on March 1st till 5th Sri Lanka will meet New Zealand for the final game of the series, the third test to conclude the series. Time to kick-start the series. Sri Lanka came to Palmerston North for the first practice game. It was scheduled to play for 3 days against New Zealand emerging players. Sri Lankan lineup was Dammika Ranatunga, Hashan Tilakaratne, Asanka Gurusinha, Aravinda de Silva, Arjuna Ranatunga, Roshan Mahanama, Sanath Jayasuriya, Ashoka de Silva, Graeme Labrooy, Champaka Ramanayake, and Ranjith. New Zealand emerging players team consists of M.J. Clark, Craig Gingham, Richard McLeod, M.R. Pringle, John Wilson, Alan Hunt as captain, Adam Peror as wicket-keeper, Blair Furlong, Evan Marshall, Aaron Gale, and Hamish Kember. New Zealand emerging players won the toss and they decide to bat first. On the first day of the game they batted throughout and scored 213 for 6 in 92 overs. Richard McLeod was the highest scorer and he scored 73 runs. None other batsman able to cross 50 runs mark. Wicket-keeper Peror scored 39 not out as the second highest score and Wilson scored 30. Not much joy for Sri Lankan bowlers, they were economical but not being able to grab wickets as they planned. Arjuna and Ashoka took 2 wickets each and 2 wickets divided among Sri Lankan 2 opening bowlers, Labrooy and Ramanayake. Second day Sri Lanka start to bat and they scored 365 for 8. Sri Lankan opening batsman Dammika Ranatunga hurt himself early in the innings and had to leave the field. Hashan out cheaply. Aravinda was the star of the day and he scored 174 runs, a good way to start the series. Gurusinha scored 79 from the other end and both of them put 173 runs for the second wicket. Roshan scored 35 and Ashoka scored another 20 to help Sri Lankan innings. Kember took 3 wickets. On the third and last day of the game New Zealand emerging players starts their second innings. They are 152 runs behind at that point. End of the day they were at stumps at 8 for 220, just 68 runs ahead Sri Lankan total. Hingham scored 51 and Furlong scored 50 not out. Wijegunawardene who went wicketless took 3 wickets. Labrooy, Ramanayake, Ashoka, and Sanath took a wicket each and the match ended up in a draw. Start of Sri Lanka's innings, a ball hits Dammika Ranatunga's elbow and he got himself injured. As per doctor's recommendation he had to rest 4 to 6 weeks, hence Sri Lankan management decided to send him back to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka travel to Wellington to meet the local country on January 21 at Basin Reserve for a 4-day first-class practice game. Sri Lanka already lost their opening batsman Dammika due to elbow injury. Including him, Sri Lanka made one other change by replacing Ranjith Wijegunawardene. Charith, Senanayake and Kapila Wijegunawardene came to the side. So, Sri Lankan lineup was Roshan Mahanama, Charith Senanayake, Asanka Gurusinha, Aravinda Silva, Arjuna Ranatunga, Sanath Jayasuriya, Hathurusingha, Ashoka Silva, Graeme Labrooy, Champaka Ramanayake, and Kapila Wijegunawardene. On the other hand, Wellington leads by their opening batsman and the wicket-keeper Irvin McSweeney. With him they have a strong lineup consists of Graham Burnett, Martin Crowe, Andrew Jones, Robert Vance, Gavin Larson, Jason Wells, Brett Williams, Lincoln Dole, Greg McKenzie, and Patrick O'Rourke. Wellington managed to bat 96.5 overs and scored 295 all out. Martin Crowe scored 101 and Gavin Larson scored 57. Not big partnerships. Crowe and McSweeney scored 76 for the second wicket. Good innings for Sri Lankan opening bowler Champaka Ramanayake. He took 6 for 79, first Sri Lankan 5 wickets haul in the series. In reply, Sri Lanka lose their first 7 wickets for just 116 runs. All players got a good start but none were able to extend it to a big score. Hasna and Graeme put much needed 81 runs for the 8th wicket to bring Sri Lanka out of danger. Hashan scored 48 and Labrooy scored the only 50 of the innings and he scored 52. Because of them Sri Lanka able to score 240 for 9 in 79 overs. O'Rourke and McKenzie took 3 wickets each. Wellington start their second innings with advantage of 55 runs. At the end of play they were 46 for no loss in 14 overs. Burnett scored 22 not out and Wells on 16 not out. So, match was ended up in a draw. That is the end of first practice session. Now Sri Lanka moved to Napier to meet New Zealand to start the first one-day international. Let's find out what has happened in our next episode.